Some prosperity preachers say that Jesus was rich while he lived on this earth. Is it true?
I happened to go to a Christmas event several years ago, and there were several people seated in that huge ground, and there were believers and there were some unbelievers also. I saw people from other faiths, and it was a wonderful opportunity to present the gospel. And I was so disappointed when this preacher stood up and started saying that, Jesus was rich, and he gave all sorts of explanations, misquoted scripture and stuff like that. And he said basically, since Jesus was rich, you can also become rich. And I've read and heard few preachers saying, I drive a Rolls Royce because Jesus was rich, and I follow his footsteps. Very interesting. I mean, where did he get that? When you look at the life of Jesus during his childhood, as we all know in Luke 2:24, we see that his parents presented an offering which was given by poor people. Luke 2:24, as you can see.
A pair of doves or two young pigeons.
Right, a pair of turtle doves or two young pigeons. Actually, they were supposed to offer a lamb, but poor people can offer a pair of turtle doves or two young pigeons. So, based on this, some scholars would say that Jesus' parents were poor. They were not necessarily rich. But again, there's another argument that, they were in Jerusalem now. They were living in Nazareth. They were in Jerusalem. Probably that's what they could afford since they were away from their home and stuff like that. But otherwise, when you read the rest of the Bible, it seems that Christ was not extremely poor as such. He was not extremely poor. When you read John 12:6, for instance, you see that Jesus and his disciples had a money bag, John 12:6. And Luke 8, verses 1-3 says that his ministry was supported by others. So Jesus did have financial backing. His ministry was supported. And when you read John 19:23-24, it seems that his seamless tunic was valuable enough that the Roman soldiers cast lots for it. So that's pretty interesting. But in spite of all of this, what I mentioned so far, none of these scriptures prove that Jesus was rich. There is no scriptural evidence whatsoever that Jesus was wealthy. My take on this, based on the reading of the Bible again, is I think that Jesus was neither rich nor poor. He was not certainly homeless. Sometimes we quote Jesus' words that foxes have hole and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head, and so on. But yeah, that was in a specific context when he was in Samaria, I believe. But he lived in home. I mean, when he was in Capernaum, many believe that Jesus lived in Peter's home. And in John's gospel, we see that, Jesus says, come and see, he lived in a home. So Jesus was not certainly a homeless man. But again, the Bible never says that he was rich or poor. I think, that should be a good model for us also to follow the Lord's footsteps. He was not extremely rich. He was not extremely poor. He had sufficient finances to continue his ministry and be a blessing to others. He did go to parties and fellowship with people. So I think that's a good model for us to follow.